We all know villains are supposed to be the bad guys, but sometimes their actions come from a place you completely understand, even if they seem unhinged. So here are 6 times the villains did nothing wrong, starting with Pitch Black from Rise of the Guardians.
Boo.
Pitch is the one thing that even nightmares are scared of. So when your job title is literally fear itself, being the bad guy is basically your only choice. Pitch spends the whole film turning kids' dreams into nightmares and picking fights with the Guardians at every possible opportunity. But his entire gripe with them comes down to one thing.
I want what you have. To be believed in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Look at who he's competing with. North gets a workshop. Bunny gets a magical underground oasis. And Sandy even gets a global delivery route that can influence kids the most. Meanwhile, Pitch gets a hole
in the ground and a bad attitude.
Yes, it's terrible that he scares the living hell out of children, but he and the Guardians are 2 sides of the same coin, really. Neither can live while the other survives. So spreading fear is the only way for Pitch Black to even exist in the first place. And after spending centuries wandering the world alone without being seen, you kind of feel bad for him. But his backstory makes you feel even worse.
To not be believed in, to long for a family.
Even though the film doesn't explore this, Pitch Black wasn't always Pitch Black. According to the books, he was once a hero named Cosmodus Pitchener, who fought against the Fearlings and locked them away. Unfortunately, the Fearlings preyed on his love for his daughter and tricked him into releasing them, after which they possessed him, turning him into the being of darkness we know today. So really, Pitch had no choice but to become the monster he is today. But at the end of the day, the very nightmares he created become his undoing. Oh, and speaking of nightmares...
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
It's Sid!
Most kids play rough, but Sid takes that to a whole new level.
Where are your rebel friends now?
Yeah, I don't think most children cook up ways to torture their toys, or even perform a double bypass brain transplant on them, dismantling them completely. But you have to wonder, how does an 11-year-old end up like this? Let's face it, kids aren't born with a pathological need for destruction. Parents play a huge role in the process, which is exactly what I suspect here. I mean, the kid orders explosives to the house and nobody even blinks. No one checks the mail or even what's going on in the backyard. Plus, the film also alludes to the fact that Sid has an abusive dad with a drinking problem. So no, children don't come out of the womb this messed up. There's always a reason. Honestly though, who among us hasn't played rough with a toy? In Sid's defense, the toys remain inanimate anytime there's a human being around. So as far as he understands, he's just playing in his own backyard doing whatever he likes with plastic. That makes him ignorant at best, not evil. And definitely not evil enough to be traumatized.
Toys can see everything.
So play nice.
Poor kid probably needs therapy for life now. Honestly, Sid's only real crime was playing rough with something he had no idea was alive. But he's not the only character whose life a protagonist ruins.
I've never robbed anybody in my life. Please don't make this a bad experience for me.
Right off the bat, the Spot gives off zero mastermind energy. He stumbles around that bodega like the ATM is bullying him. Which is exactly why nobody takes him seriously, including the audience. But he didn't come out of nowhere. You've already met this man, actually. He was a scientist at Alchemax, same guy Spider-Man chucked a bagel at. And unfortunately for him, the same guy standing in the room when the collider blew. The same accident that gave Miles a franchise became the worst moment of his life. So it's safe to say that Spider-Man ruined his life. Honestly, you can't blame the guy for wanting to beat up Miles. He was once a respected scientist with hopes and dreams. Now, he's nothing but a laughingstock.
I lost my job, my life, my face, My family won't even look at me.
Yeah, that definitely makes you feel for the guy. The Spot is the reason Miles became Spider-Man in the first place, and in return, he was rewarded with a lifetime of ridicule and powers he couldn't even begin to understand. That is, until he finally tapped back into his research side and started testing his new abilities.
My holes aren't a curse. They're the answer.
You know, don't be coming over here with that gay.
Spot may have started as a joke villain, but the moment he stops having a pity party and locks in, he becomes the biggest threat to the multiverse.
I'm gonna take everything from you, like you took everything from me.
Now, is it unhinged to take out his anger over one teenager onto the entire multiverse?
Yes.
But do I get where he's coming from?
Yes.
The guy lost everything in his life. That's gotta mess you up in more ways than one. And he's not the only one who completely loses his cool because of Miles.
I'm Spider-Man.
You're a mistake!
Bro just body slammed a 15-year-old like he has every right to. But that's Miguel O'Hara for you. The guy appointed himself protector of the multiverse and hasn't smiled once since. His whole job is making sure canon events happen the way they're supposed to. Now, did he go a little overboard there with Miles? Definitely. But before we write him off, it's important to know why he's like this.
I've given up too much to stop now.
Miguel is so obsessed with protecting the canon because he's the one person in that building who already broke it. He found a universe where another version of him had died and where that man had a daughter. So he stepped into that life just to finally have the chance at a family. And for a while, it worked. Until it didn't. Watching your daughter die in your arms because of your mistake changes you forever. And that's exactly what happened to Miguel. His actions killed not just his daughter, but that entire universe. So he decided to never let that happen again, even if he has to take drastic measures in the process.
Please understand.
You can't ask me not to save my father. I'm not asking.
Miguel, just give him the center.
Man, that's way too harsh. But put yourself in his shoes for a second. A teenager walks in and says he's going to break the exact rule that killed your daughter, and he's confident it'll be fine. You'd probably try to stop him too. Now, is locking a kid in a glow stick cage and sicking 1,000 spider people on him the right response? Obviously not. But in becoming the hero nobody wants, Miguel turns into the monster he thinks everyone needs.
We are supposed to be the good guys.
We are.
Miguel, therefore, blurs the line between hero and villain. To the Spider Society, he's gone from reliable leader to paranoid loon. To himself, he's the only adult in a room full of people who aren't willing to do what it takes. Which is something you can say for Chef Skinner from Ratatouille as well.
You are cooking!
At first, this tiny, angry Frenchman is incredibly easy to hate. He yells constantly and is mean for no reason. Plus, it doesn't help that his big plan is turning Gusteau's into a frozen food line. So, no, there's nothing likable about him. But there's one area where he's completely in the right.
I think you are a sneaky, overreaching little...
That is exactly how a head chef should react to a rat in his kitchen. Skinner wants Remy gone because rodents are a massive health risk. Unfortunately for him, in this world, it's apparently fine for a rat to cook dinner and serve it to paying customers who have no idea. And the rat isn't even his only problem, because how does a garbage boy suddenly start making top chef level dishes? Even Colette, who spent years earning her spot in that kitchen, watches a guy with zero credentials overtake her because he got lucky with a soup. Skinner is the only person in the entire building who finds that suspicious. And he's right, by the way, there is something wrong. Linguini is being driven around like a forklift by a rodent holding his hair. Now, Skinner isn't completely guilt-free here. He hides Linguini's inheritance, and his business plan involves putting a dead legend's face on corn dogs. But look at what he was defending. Gusteau's had already dropped from 5 stars to 3 since the founder was gone. Skinner was just trying to keep the restaurant afloat. And what was his reward for that?
I demand to know!
Poor guy gets tied up and shoved in a cupboard by the rat he was right about all along. And then, the restaurant gets shut down by a health inspector for the exact thing he'd been trying to avoid the whole film. The man wasn't crazy. In some ways, he was the only guy making sense in the whole film. Which is something Ken from the B movie can relate to on a spiritual level.
But it was my grandmother, Ken. She's 81.
Honey, her backhand's a joke. I'm not gonna take advantage of that.
Game's game.
Okay, so it's no secret that Ken is a huge jerk. The guy was willing to beat an 81-year-old in tennis and then brag about it. That says a lot about his personality, but for all his flaws, Vanessa has hers too.
But it's our yogurt night.
Oh, bye-bye.
Oh. Why is yogurt night so difficult?
This woman canceled date night with her boyfriend for a bee she met just days ago.
She belongs to the streets.
And this isn't new behavior either. Vanessa was dismissive of Ken long before Barry came buzzing into their lives. Which raises the obvious question, why is she even with this man? Clearly, she doesn't value him enough.
Don't kill him!
You know I'm allergic to them. This thing could kill me.
Well, why does his life have any less value than yours?
The guy's not even being dramatic here. You see bug, you remove bug. That's just how things work in the real world. Vanessa's the only one who thinks otherwise, though, and somehow her bleeding heart cares for every living creature except her boyfriend. And things only get worse from there. She's off helping a bee sue the human race while Ken sits around wondering what happened to his relationship. So when he walks in and finds Barry in his chair, living his life, yeah, no wonder he loses it.
I love the smell of flowers.
Yeah? How do you like the smell of flames?
Not as much.
You can watch this man slowly go insane in real time across the whole film. All he wanted was one quiet yogurt night and a girlfriend who wasn't hanging out with a talking bee all the time. Yes, the flamethrower was a bit of an overreaction, but in the grand scheme of things, Ken did nothing wrong by wanting to get rid of a bee that could genuinely put him in the hospital. Oh, and if you like that video, then click one of these.